All right, it's time for our Unit 7 review over cubics and cube roots. Number 1 says write the equation of the cube root parent function. And so the cube root parent function is y equals, or f of x equals, the cube root of x. And then list the attributes of it. So the domain, the range, the symmetry, the x-intercept, the y-intercept. All right, domain and range throughout this unit is always all real numbers, negative infinity to positive infinity. The symmetry is rotational, 180 degrees around 0, 0. The x-intercept on this one, the graph looks like this. It's horizontal, and so it's going left to right. Makes that kind of S curve through the middle. It hits the x-axis at 0, and it hits the y-axis at 0 as well. The equation of the cubic parent function is y equals x cubed. And then again, we'll do the domain, the range, the symmetry, the x-intercept, and the y-intercept. And so for this one, cubic is vertical, where it goes up like that. Up and down. So my domain and range again is all real numbers. My symmetry is rotational, 180 degrees around 0, 0. It's always around the inflection point, not always 0, 0, but it is for the parent function, and it goes through 0 to the x and y-intercept. Find the inverse of the following. So to find the inverse, we'll start by switching the x and y. So x equals 2, y minus 4 cubed plus 3. And then we want to get the y all by itself. So we'll work our way outside in to get the y by itself. So we'll subtract 3 first. So the 3's are gone. Then we'll get rid of this 2 by dividing by 2. And so x minus 3 over 2 equals y minus 4 cubed. To get rid of the cubed, we're going to take the cube root of both sides. And it gets rid of the cube. So the cube root of x minus 3 over 2 is equal to y minus 4. And then last step, we're going to add 4 to the other side. And so cube root of x minus 3 over 2 plus 4 is equal to y. That's my inverse equation. For number 4, we're going to find and graph the inverse of f of x. I'm going to go ahead and graph the original as well. And so for my original, this goes left 3 and down 1. So 1, 2, 3, down 1. There's a cube root. And so for the cube root, our table that we've been doing is from the starting point. If I go right 1, I go up 1. And if I go right 8, I go up 2, because the cube root of 8 is 2. If I go left 1, I go down 1. And if I go left 8, I go down 2. There's no stretch or compress, so it's going to be normal. I'm going to go right 1 and up 1. And right 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and up 2. Same thing on the left side, left 1 and down 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. And so that's my original. And now for my inverse, we'll switch the x and y. X equals cube root of y plus 3 minus 1. We'll add the 1 over, so x plus 1 equals cube root of y plus 3. And then we'll cube both sides, so x plus 1 cubed is equal to y plus 3. And then we'll subtract 3 last. X plus 1 cubed minus 3 equals y. So this is my inverse function. This one's a cubic, so we're going to start left 1 and down 3. And then for this one, with cubics, our table from the starting point, we went right 1 and up 1, but on this one we went right 2 and up 8. So it's the reverse of our cube root, because 2 cubed is 8. And left 1 goes down 1, and left 2 goes down 8. So from our starting point, we go right 1 and up 1, right 2 and up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Left 1 and down 1, left 2 and down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that's my inverse function. Number 5, we're going to graph this equation. And so we're going to go left 2 and down 6. 6, 6. That's my inflection point. And so -2, -6. This one went left 2 and down 6. And then this one is cubic. There's no stretch or compress, so we're going to do our regular. We're going to go right 1 and up 1, and right 2 and up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go left 1 and down 1, left 2 and down 8, somewhere down in this area. All right. My domain and range are all real numbers. Those are the easier ones to do. My y-intercept I can see is right here at 0, 2. And my x-intercept is somewhere right here, close to 0, but not quite at 0. So to find that x-intercept, we're going to plug in 0 for y, and we're going to solve for the x. We're going to find what that x-intercept is. What is the x value when y is 0? And so we'll add that 6 over. 6 equals x plus 2 cubed. We'll take that cube root of 6, and then we'll take that cube root of 6 and we'll subtract 2 to get that x. And so I'm going to go into my calculator, and we're going to do cube root, which is math, and that fourth option down, cube root of 6, and then we'll subtract 2. And we got -0.18, which makes sense to my graph where it's really close to 0. And so my x-intercept is -0.18. Number 6, find the inverse of this long one right here. We're going to start off by switching my x and y. So x equals 5, cube root of 1/3 x minus 2 plus 6. Sorry, not x, that's a y. Switch to x and y. All right, and then we're going to work our way outside in to get the y by itself. So we'll start by subtracting the 6 over. So x minus 6 equals all of this. And then we'll get rid of the 5 by dividing by 5. Then we'll get rid of the cube root by cubing. So I'm going to come up here. And so x minus 6 over 5, the whole thing cubed, is equal to 1/3 y minus 2. And then to get rid of the 1/3, we're going to multiply by 3. So multiply both sides by 3. It's going to go on the outside. X minus 6 over 5, the whole thing cubed, equals y minus 2. And then last step, we'll add the 2 over. So 3 x minus 6 over 5 cubed plus 2 is equal to y. That's my inverse function right there. And once again, something we've gone over is everything switches location and operation. So +6 on the outside turn to -6 on the inside. -2 on the inside turn into +2 on the outside. Multiplying by 1/3 on the inside turn into multiplying by 3 on the outside. And multiplying by 5 on the outside turn into dividing by 5 on the inside. Everything changed location and operation. Number 7, solve the cube root equation. And so we'll start by dividing by -3. So cube root of x plus 4 is equal to, when we divide by -3, I believe that's -27. And then to get rid of that cube root, we're going to cube both sides. And so I'm going to need a calculator on that one. And go ahead and verify that I got that first part right. Yep, -27. Then we're going to cube that answer. So we get -19,683, and then we'll subtract 4 last, and so x is equal to -19,687. And then to check that we got it right, I'm going to store in that answer for my x, and then we'll plug this in and see if we got it correct. So -3 cube root of x plus 4, and it equals 81. We got it correct. Find the inverse of the following. Again, I'll switch my x and y. And then we'll subtract 4 over. We'll divide by 3. And then to get rid of the cube, we'll take the cube root. And lastly, we'll add the 1 over. And that's my inverse function. And so +4 on the outside turn to -4 on the inside, multiply by 3, turn and divide by 3, -1 on the inside turn to +1 on the outside. Everything changed location and operation. Describe the transformations from this to this. And so that 1/3 is a vertical compress by 1/3. We got right 2 and up 4. All right, number 10, find the solution. There's another solving problem. So to get rid of cube root, we're going to cube both sides. So 4x plus 7 is equal to 4 cubed, which is 64. And then we're going to subtract 7 on both sides, so 4x. And when we subtract 7, we get 57. And then we'll divide by 4. And I'll just go ahead and go to the calculator on that one, 14.25. And so I can store that in for my x, math 4. 4x plus 7, it equals 4. We got it correct. The shoulder height in centimeters of a particular elephant is modeled by the function right there, where the t is the age in years of the elephant. How old is the elephant? That's my t. When its height is 280 centimeters, that's my h. And so we're going to have 280. We're going to plug in what we know, and we're going to solve for what we don't, which is the t. So we'll start off by subtracting that 76 over. So 280 minus 76 is 204. And then we'll divide by that 62.1 to get 3.285. And then we'll cube that answer right there. And so t is about 35.45 in years. And again, I can store that in for x and make sure I got the right answer. 62.1 cube root of x plus 76 equals 280. We got it correct. If the parent function is transformed to this, what will be the transformation to the parent function? So the 3 right there is a vertical stretch by 3. We got right 2. And, sorry, that's a terrible 2. 2 and up 5. And that's it. What is the solution to the equation? So again, we're going to solve. We'll start by dividing the 5 over. So x plus 4 cubed is equal to negative 40 divided by 5, which is negative 8. And then we're going to cube root both sides to get rid of the cube. The opposite of cube is cube root. So when we cube root negative 8, we get negative 2. And then we'll subtract the 4 over to get negative 6. And again, I'll check my answer, just make sure I got the right answer. Negative 6, I'll store it in for x. And then 5, x plus 4 cubed is equal to negative 40. We got it right. Graph the functions and describe the transformation. So transformations, we have a vertical stretch by 2, left 4, and down 1. So left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1. That's my inflection point right there. We're doing cube root this time, which normally with cube root, our points that we use are right 1 and up 1, right 8 and up 2, left 1 and down 1, left 8 and down 2. On this one, I have the vertical stretch by 2, so we're going to multiply all these values by 2, the y value. So when we go right 8, we're actually going to go up 4. This one's going to be up 2. This one's going to be down 2. And this is going to be down 4 because we multiplied all these values, these y values, by 2. And so we're going to go right 1 and up 2, 1, 2. We're going to go right 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, from the starting point, left 1 and down 2, and left 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, down 4, 1, 2, 3, somewhere in that area. All right, and then there's our last problem right here. It's a challenging one. It looks difficult, but again, just work your way outside in. And so first thing we're gonna do is get rid of that 9. So everything else is gonna stay the same. So 45 minus 9x raised to the 1/3 power plus 15 raised to the 3rd power is equal to, we'll add the 9 over to get to 11. Next off, to get rid of this cube, we'll take the cube root of both sides. And so 45 minus 9x raised to the 1/3 power plus 15 is equal to the cube root of 11, which math 4, it's not going to be a perfect one, but 2.22, somewhere in that area. And then next off we'll subtract 15, so 45 minus 9x raised to the 1/3 power will be equal to, and so I'll just do 2.22, and then we'll subtract the 15 over to get the negative 12.78. And then we'll cube it to get rid of the cube root. And so 45 minus 9x is equal to negative 2087.34. Then we'll subtract the 45 over. So to get negative 9x is equal to negative 2132.37. And then I'll divide by negative 9 to get my answer of 236.93. So on this one, I'll check it, but since we did some rounding along the way, my answer may not be exactly 2, but it should be close to 2. And so I'm going to do the 236.93. I'll store it in for x. And then 45 minus 9x raised to the 1/3 plus 15 raised to the 3rd minus 9. And again, it's not quite 2 because of some of our rounding, but it is pretty close to 2, and so I believe we got it correct. If you want to make sure, keep it correct all along the way, you can use the values. So instead of doing some rounding, I could do math 411, and I could just keep that in my calculator, and then we subtract 15 next, and then we cube that. I'm just going to use all these numbers without doing the rounding, and then subtract 45. And our last step was divided by negative 9, which again, it got really close to it, but not exactly. And so that's closer to the right answer. But when you do some rounding along the way, it's going to make your answer get a little bit more off the more rounding you do. But this is a good answer. It'll work. And so that's it for our review. If you have any questions, make sure to let me know. Make sure you're ready for this test. I hope you all have a good one.